what we do is unified commerce, which basically means that no matter if you're doing retail, hospitality, in whatever channel you might be doing it, we basically support it in one single system. So you can be doing, you can combine the e-commerce, the inventory management, the CRM, point of sale, and all of the capabilities that you need in just one platform. And this minimizes the time you are wasting on integrations, having the systems working together, and gives you just one unified view of your data. And how do we do this? We have our fundamental basic ERP system, which is called Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. And this is providing like financials, it's sales and marketing and all of those core features that you need to run your business. But on top of that, we are building verticals that are our retail vertical to manage the stores and the back office solutions. We are managing our restaurants with food and beverage solutions, point of sale, setting up recipes, modifiers, and managing all of that. The staff management to manage your rosters and timetabling if you want to. We have an activity system which is called to manage the reservations and bookings. So if you have a spas or rentals, ticketing, so all kinds of versatile bookings that you can manage within the same system. And finally, you have the hotel system module, which is the property management system. And all of these work in one single solution and in one single database, which means that there's no integration needed, and you have a seamless experience also for the users and the staff on how to work through the system and do the tasks and chores that they need to do. And in the center, we have the guest managing. So we can keep track on our guests in the member management system. We can make use of a loyalty system if we want to, but basically you want to know who your guest is, how many times has he been in your enterprise before, and so you get some insights on that. To support all of this, we have another vertical called LS Pay, and this is an integration to payment providers around the world. So depending on where you are in the world, we have out-of-the-box solutions to connect to different payment providers. So, and on top of that, we have an e-commerce integration. So we have a Magento platform where you can make your e-commerce shop, or you can also make a web integration from a third party because we have the open APIs so that you can manage, you can decide if you want to use our solution or create your own. And also, like for the channel management in the hotel business, we have like the web booking front end. So we are connecting to like Synexis or SiteMinder OTAs so that you can manage your front end bookings into the hotels. We are also using a module called LS Insight, which is making use of the Power BI solution from Microsoft, so that to give you insights into the data. How is the business going, and how are you performing? So LS Central for hotels, it is a we put the guest at the center. So basically, you can find the hotel solution. You can the customer journey begins by the customer. He needs to find your hotel, and that can be through an online travel agent. It can be through your website, and he can make the booking and the reservation through those, or also, of course, by just directly calling the resort. In the reservation, you can manage your activities and the extra items needed, like and services like the airport pickup or the extra bottle of champagne when you arrive, etc., on the same in an easy manner. And then you can check the guest in quickly and smoothly. You can quickly see information about the guest on the POS that we have at the front desk. And then to enhance the guest experience, we can offer like the extra services like the spa treatments or extra services that we provide at the property. And we can of course give rewards to the customers if you're using the loyalty system. And then of course the checkout process is quick and easy. You can get a clear overview of what the charges are and all of that. Before I go into the demo, just wanted to share with you the hottest tourist experience in Iceland right now. And we have this beautiful volcano just about 30 kilometers outside of Reykjavik, the capital. And it's quite accessible and quite a scenery, as you can see. And this is basically 5 kilometers away from the Blue Lagoon. So guests coming to the Blue Lagoon, they can easily go there for a day hike and experience it. And it's quite a show. But let's put another show on and look how the LS Hotel solution works. And then you can decide which is more spectacular. So, LS Hotels, I just want to quickly show you here. This is our role center when I come into the LS Hotel solution. And you can, in Business Central, because it's an ERP solution, you can have different role centers tailored to each user. So if you're working in the hotel, this is the view of the home screen that you get. But if you're working in a spa or a restaurant, you will have different home screens showing you other KPIs that are meaningful to your role. And I can just quickly show you here that this is showing me all kinds of functionality that I have within my back office. I can also, if I go into the whole system, then you can see that suddenly I have an activity manager. We have some, if you're running a fashion shop, if you are running some finances, sales and marketing, manufacturing, restaurant manager, hotel back office. So it just shows you that you have so many options and so much functionality within the same system. So in the front desk or the back office here, I can quickly see if there are any actions I need to take. So do I have any no-shows from last day that I have to attend to? Do we have any open balance reservations where the guest checked out, but there's still a balance on them? We can have like a deposit rule saying that a week before arrival, we want to collect a deposit or a prepayment. So a lot of information you can see here. We can also see what's the status on the reservations and on the group reservation and the property as such. And here I can basically manage my rates. So we have a rate management system where you can set up best available rate. You can also set up hotel packages. And I'll just quickly show you if a customer calls and he wants to create a reservation. So I can decide on the dates and we'll take 2 nights. We want to offer, he will ask for a breakfast, a best available rate with a breakfast. And then we can either pick a name if we know the guest. So he calls, well, I'm Stefan. Okay, I can see, is it Stefan Thompson? Yes, it is. So we'll just add him here and we can see the information about the guest. And then we can decide we can see the total amount. So it's 400 for 2 nights. And we can see here the availability of the room. So 200 means the price, 54 is the availability. So I'll just order 1 room and confirm the reservation. Now, while I have the guest on the phone, he might say, well, I noticed that you have a spa. So I would really be interested in managing, getting a time there as well. I don't have to phone the spa appointment. I can say, okay, Stefan, he wants to have a massage, or I can directly type in here, massage 30. And Then I have a default location. So if we have multiple spas in the property, we can decide on which location we want to have them in. But basically what we're seeing here is the exact same view as the people in the spa. So I don't have to call them up, ask for availability or something like that. We can just pick it up from here. And then we can either enter a time, or I can also I can write like 1700, or we could also have pressed these buttons here, and then we get the availability within our system. So we can see that we have like 2 slots available for these spa appointments until 6 o'clock. And Stefan would like his spouse or a guest to have a spa at the same time. And because I can just use like a quick enter here, so I can press F8 on my keyboard, and it basically just copies the value on top of the in the line above. So it can be very quick to navigate and work through with the system. So Stefan, I'm happy with these times, and I will just confirm those here. Now, what's basically happening now is that we are confirming the activities. And because the activity system is set up that whenever I confirm an activity, I also have to pick which resource. This can be an automatic process, or it can also be a manual process, which I'm showing here just for demo purposes. So, but they can pick then, okay, Stefan would like the Benjamin Ford and then Linda Fritz as well. So now we can see that the spa appointments have been confirmed, and we are quite happy with this. So now let's go over to the front desk. So we've made the reservation. Stefan is quite happy with this. And this is like my dashboard to show how many different roles we can or this is just an example, but these are some of the roles we can have in the hotel. So I'll start my front desk POS up, and I'll also start my housekeeping POS just to show you a little bit later on. So at the front desk, we will log in, and here we can see on the filters, okay, we have one arrival today, 1 departure today, and there are 2 people in-house. So we can see that we have Gregory and Paul, and when they're arriving and when they're departing. So I can also quickly filter on the arrivals and the departures. I can also just reset this, and we can quickly like search in the system for like Stefan or Paul. So quickly to navigate and figure out our way through the system. We also have a floor plan. So a floor plan is basically showing us all the rooms that we have in the system. We can quickly filter based on the status, buildings, housekeeping, floors. So it's or you can also just search here. So I can search like Stefan, he's not checked in, so I can't show him on the floor plan. Paul, he is checked into 108. So I can quickly navigate into Paul Thompson and his reservation and see the status here if I want to. So and if I'm looking at all my double rooms, then we can see here that 103 has been allocated, is available because it's green, but it's not clean yet. So somebody was in this room earlier today, but he checked out and it hasn't been cleaned yet. Gregory Brown, he is staying, he has a stayover because he's red here all the way through, and he is on the first night of 3, and it's not been cleaned yet as well. Paul Thompson, he is departing today, and that's why he's red on the left-hand side. So as you can see, there's a lot of small details and information in here that you can use. I also forgot on the, so basically we can also have a tape chart, which shows us the status on the reservation. So we can see the reservation of Stefan that we just created, and then we can just drag and drop the reservation to allocate him to a room. So now I have allocated Stefan to room 103. And when I hover over, you can see that he has some activities ordered. You can see the balance and the reservation numbers and all kinds of information in here.
And
so,
Gunnar?
Yep.
Gunnar, this is Hector. Yeah. So, you know, one thing I want to highlight from what you're saying or demoing right now is to our audience is that this is based on Microsoft technology. The base of this, or quote unquote, the source code is Dynamics 365. This again can be run on premise or on the cloud or a hybrid. So this is Microsoft technology that we know and a lot of us use and license out there. We're seeing a lot of graphical interface and pretty soon for the people here, we're going to be seeing reporting and other aspects. So one of the things, Gunnar, that I see as I travel around Florida and the Caribbean with primarily properties, independent properties, right? Or in, you know, what's called indigenous properties, which indigenous means from a particular country, or, you know, I call it the non-Marriotts and the non-Hiltons, that, you know, they have their corporate systems as user interfaces within those systems are, you know, either green and black, or they're very old Windows and DOS based. So this type of color coding that you're showing here, right, Gunnar, that we're seeing throughout the system, also greatly helps in the productivity of guest management,
Yes.
which you know, also reduces times that people are in your front desk and the lines, right? Somebody's coming in from shopping or the beach, they want to go to their room, they don't and all of a sudden they lost their key, right? They don't want to do a line of 30 minutes just to get their key refreshed, right? Because somebody's taking a lot of time reallocating. So the speed, the color coding, all of that helps with the productivity within the property.
Yeah.
I just wanted to highlight that, you know, at this point, Gunnar. Thank you.
So as you could see, I opened up the reservation directly from the tape chart if I need to make any more changes to it, and then if I change now over to my POS, then you can see that if I click I was going to click the floor plan. Now you can see 103, Stefan Thompson, he's about to check in, but it's not been cleaned yet. So now we can call housekeeping. And as you can see, I can even have this POS here on a small device if I want to. So we can easily have it on an iPad or even on a phone. And so I will go in here, and this is my housekeeping POS. So I can even call housekeeping and ask, okay, what is the status on 103? And well, and they can just say, okay, I'm cleaning it. Or when they're done cleaning it, they will have like, they are done. Basically what you can see here, I have room 104. It is the first night out of 3, so it's a stayover, and I have 2 guests in it. So we have all of this information that we can add to our housekeeping POS for communication. And when the housekeeping staff have entered the statuses here, you will immediately see them on the floor plan here that 108 has been cleaned, and 103 has been cleaned. 104 is still not been cleaned. So it's all within your fingertips. I'll just make it a little bit bigger for clarification. So now Stefan, he is about to check in, but he says, well,
Gunnar,
notice, yep.
Gunnar, you did say mobility, man, and I'm having a volcano moment here. But so you did do that. So I assume Iceland may be similar to Trinidad, to Jamaica, to Puerto Rico, right? Miami, not that much because of the size of let's say the market and the airport. But man, when American Airlines or JetBlue comes in, or in Antigua, for example, is another market, and I'm coming their flights, especially when even if it's one flight or two flights, man, once I get to the hotel, I see a lot of the people that were on the plane in a line there in the
Yeah.
check-in of the hotel. So with this mobility, it's great for guest experience. It's a line buster. So because unfortunately in hotels and properties, it's not like somebody walks in every 10 minutes and you don't have a line. It's either it's empty or 20 people just hopped out of an airplane, and you get this big line with a lot of suitcases, and bellhops are going crazy, right? So a manager, I'm seeing that a manager or a supervisor can also grab an iPad. And can you confirm if it's Android, iOS,
Doesn't
Windows?
matter. It runs on all platforms.
On all platforms. So I just see
Yeah.
somebody on their phone on a big Android Note or on a regular phone. So a property doesn't have to, right, and cash it. Money's tight right now, right? So it's not that a property has to buy a separate tablet or a phone to do this, right? You can actually, if a property, a hotel already gives their manager or their supervisors a cell phone, right? They can use their own cell phones to do this, or you can have a tablet or something that, Gunnar, we're seeing a lot in retail and also in hospitality are these hybrid, let's say, stations where you press a button and it's a Windows or an Android station. You press a button on the station with the cash drawer and everything, and the screen comes out and it's wireless, and you walk around. So this is great. And by the way, I also want to mention to everybody here that LS Retail also, for the gift shop, for the retail shops, they also provide mobility. So, for, somebody who's buying something in a store, you can also, you can have this type of mobility also for regular retailing, or in a restaurant, in a hotel, there's also mobile waiters. So I want to go back to this point where the LS Retail has done a very, very good job of taking the whole mobile platform and extending it not only for property and this line busting and the check-in, check-out, whatever, but it's also could be at a restaurant. It could be with a housekeeping service. So mobility, a property should be able to toggle in and out of mobility at any time, right? It's the year 2021.
Yeah. So we can immediately see that Stefan has been staying with us before. So he has one stay, previous day. He asked, well, I saw that you had a restaurant. Well, we have 2 restaurants, sir. Which restaurant would you like to go into? So we can make a reservation in here, and then we can pick the date and number of persons. And basically, we can pick the time. So let's say 7:30 p.m. And now I can see that I have a table reservation for 2 here on my reservation. And we can quickly check him in. We can see that it's been checked in now. And then I have, if I go to my restaurant POS, and again, all of this is just the same POS functionality and the same functionality just running as a different user. So now I'm the restaurant user. We can log into our restaurant. I can see my table allocation in here. And because we just created a reservation, we can see that, well, we have Stefan Thompson at 7:30 coming in, and we can reallocate the tables if we need to. And we have also all kinds of filters and stuff to manage this. let's say that Stefan, he goes to the bar and he is wanting to have some a cold beer and maybe also maybe also a glass of wine. And this is like a menu that you can, either have like the usual buttons that you have, or you can also have like a graphical one like this. And I'll just finalize this. And then he says, well, I'm staying at the hotel. Can I charge it to my room? And then we can quickly see, this is my room list. I can filter on Stefan. Okay, it's room 103. And we can just say, okay, it's been charged. So if I move back to my POS here and I click, and we can see now that the extras, that if I refresh my screen here, you will see how the IPA beer and the red wine have been added to my bill. So I think we're short of time, but of course, when I do the financials and we can have routing rules, you can charge the room to the company and the extra charges to the guests. So it's all easy to manage the invoices as such. I'm sorry, it's something wrong with my demo data in here, but you can split the bill any way you like, and those kinds of things. I think this is like a very quick and easy, high level overview of this hotel system. But I think we also need to give time to. There's one more panelist, wasn't it, Francine?
Yes, there is one another panelist, and now they're going to be covering CRM on the Dynamics 365 platform.
Okay.
Optimus, Microsoft has CRM and the accounting, the finance, purchasing, procurement part is an integrated component of 365. It's one platform. That's why Microsoft calls their platform now Microsoft 365. And you have Power BI, and you have web, and you have the accounting, and everything's the same language and sitting in the same platform. So now we're going to switch over to Jorge, who's going to cover the part of customer experience or guest experience, how we refer to it in the hospitality industry. In that format, I've asked Jorge to cover a couple of things. One thing is somebody in sales managing some opportunities, could be around a wedding, a corporate event. It could be about a graduation, selling a banquet, selling a block of rooms, a convention, et cetera, et cetera. So that management and tracking. And the other part is, let's say, doing case management or complaint management. What happens if after a guest stays, by the way, this is happening in Airbnb and in the hospitality industry, left and right, where guests stay or take a tour. It's happened to my brother. He works in the hospitality industry already. And then after guests, let's say consume services and rooms, and they leave the property, then they open up a complaint asking for their money back because they got COVID. They got COVID rappelling or zip lining, or they got COVID staying in a hotel. And I'd say 90% of the time, the properties or the tour companies ask for let's say just the testing on the COVID, and the cases are dropped immediately. So there's this big scam going on right now at very big levels, where people are trying to get experiences for free after they take them, right? And they're blaming COVID or other things. Or let's say the typical a guest had a complaint about an employee who was let's say not polite to them, or somebody that made unsolicited advances. It could be different advances from an employee. So, I mean, guys, this is something that happens in hospitality on a day-to-day basis, right? So CRM is part of the platform. It's integrated. To the Dynamics 365 platform. So, it's one system, one experience for you all to manage. So Gunnar, if you can, I understood, Gunnar, that you're done with your part of the demo, right?
Yeah, just to give, I mean, because I think we only have a couple of minutes left, so.
Yeah.
But if you
we can
have
extend.
Yeah,
We'll
I
extend,
have.
don't worry.
Yeah, I have a hard stop at 1, so.
Okay, no problem. Reporting on Power BI, right? As we're transitioning Gunnar out, very important when a guest is checking out, right? Or when somebody buys in a gift shop throughout Florida and the Caribbean, there's always this thing about credit card processors, right? Nobody has an issue with cash when something's tendered or a bill or a hotel bill is paid, but credit cards, there's always something happening with credit cards. We have customers in Florida and the Caribbean who are processing credit cards at the table when it's dine in and it's not let's say an all-inclusive scenario. We have customers who receive payment on e-commerce. LS Retail has LS Pay, which is a great credit card, let's say, connector or middleware with different processors. I get the question, Florida and the US, they have an abundant supply of processors that are available. A lot of the times is the connectivity to them. So LS Pay and if LS Pay doesn't cover it, Optimus, we also have credit card integration services and IP. In the Caribbean, I'm glad to announce that one of our partners has expanded from the US to Puerto Rico to Dominican Republic and now Jamaica. So starting in October, Optimus is not only going to be able to provide credit integration with LS Pay, or if it's not available in LS Pay, we can help with that. But we're also starting to provide credit card processing as part of our PMS solution in Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Florida, and now Jamaica. And we will be increasing this throughout the Caribbean. We can also process credit cards. Let's say for somebody, let's use the example, Puerto Rico or Jamaica. We can process credit cards if you all have operations in the US, we can process in the US or we can process locally. So we can process, both sides as long as you have a legal entity in the US and we do appropriate due diligence that has to happen under US regulation, right? And so credit card processing, it's also part of the solution that we also provide with LS Retail. So with that said, Gunnar, we'll keep on taking the questions, and if there's any, we'll escalate them to you. You're a busy man, worldwide man. I know pretty soon you'll be traveling. I'm trying to make myself up to Iceland. And I did hear, Gunnar, Marco saying somewhere that for the first property that buys LS Retail, Marco is going to invite them to the Blue Lagoon, and he's gonna personally pay them a free week stay in the Blue Lagoon. But that's Marco, right? Not you. So we can throw in there a free week at the Blue Lagoon for anybody who jumps into LS Retail from this webinar. So I know Marco's going to kill me pretty soon. So with that said, Jorge, get ready. We're going to pass it over to you.
Thank you very much. And don't hesitate to contact me if there is any extra questions. So you can see my mail in here. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And thank you.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Let me share my screen. Okay, here we go. Okay, as Hector mentioned earlier, we currently have a promotion in the Pro CRM licenses. So that's why I want I would like you to show you two quick scenarios of everyday situations that can appear in a hotel and that probably we could manage with the CRM. The first one is going to be related to this person, Steve White. Steve is a person that contacted a hotel and he wants to have information about how to prepare a wedding for his daughter, for example. So the first thing that I have to do is just go directly to the Steve White information, and that is this one. I already have the information of that person here. And let's see that we are going to register the phone call. So on the phone call, Steve told me that he wants to prepare the wedding for his daughter. I am receiving the call. I could identify the phone number that he's using, for example, here. And after that, in the description, I am not typing just to make it quicker. But in the description, let's say that in the conversation with that person, he told me that he's interested in having a celebration for almost 150 people, and there is no budget limit because he is his only daughter. So let's say that we already have that phone call here, and over that phone call, I want to just try to continue with a sales process. So let's say that I want to prepare that phone call, and on that phone call, I could convert that to an opportunity because I am just going through a sales process. So I'm going to create an opportunity because there is a possible business there. I could just start getting the information from that person. And let's say that I could define what products he wants to include in their business. Let's say that, for example, uh, let me choose one product here. For example, let's say that it's a wedding for almost 150 people. And for example, let's say that he wants to include additional flowers arrangement or something like that to make it better. So I could just put flower arrangement from my list. Let's say that he wants four. And the CRM is going to allow me to see the amount of money that he's going to require. And after that, if he is okay with the products that I am including, I could just create a quote immediately from the CRM. So I receive the situation by the phone and I start creating an opportunity and I'm over creating a quote. As you can see here, for example, if Mr. Steve is okay with the products, I could just export to PDF and I could have an a quote immediately from the CRM. Let's see the quote just to see what he say. Let me show you the quote here. Let's see the quote. So I could include all my custom or my image from my hotel, in this case, Optimus Resort and Casino. I could specify this that I want to include all the elements, all the prices, all the items that I want to include. If I want, I could include a picture of the place where the wedding is going to be, and I could send that immediately through email directly to Mr. Steve. I mean, if I just check here and I just send an email, he's go he's going to receive the quote immediately. At the end of the day, if he decides to continue with that quote, I just have to activate the quote and create an order, and that's it. That's the whole scenario. So the idea here is that I receive the situation by the phone and I could continue with all the process just directly from the CRM. That's the first scenario that I want to share with you. The second one is an additional situation, probably that a guest is going to tell us. Let's say that it's going to be Crystal Thompson. Crystal is a person that is already in the hotel. And let's say that she was in the pool, and let's say that he had an accident or something like that. So he's calling the the desk, or he's calling us trying to manifest that something happened. Let's say that she has a pool accident. Um, and let's say that she's calling me from a specific number just to have the information here. And she told me that she was in the pool with his with his nephew, for example, and the nephew just got an accident. So I could just register information here. I know that it's an emergency and that we must be quick, but quick, it doesn't mean immediately that it's going to be better. I mean, we need to be clear with the information and we need to understand what is exactly happening. So I received the call, and after that, I could just directly from the call, I could create a case. Just I'm going to convert this call to a case.
And while you do
And
that,
directly,
Jorge,
sorry?
while you do that, guys, the contacts, right? In this case, Crystal Thompson, she's already been created already on the PMS Dynamics 365 LS retail side of the equation. So it's, that information is, since it was created once, and the case management, right, which sits on the Microsoft 365 CRM part of the platform, has that information. So these items are being let's say they're automatically, I don't want to use the word integrated, I want to use the word synchronized. So, whenever somebody checks in, et cetera, you're going to get them here. This is also integrated. Jorge's doing a call right now, but I do want to mention Office 365, right? Microsoft Office 365 that we all know is part of the Microsoft 365 platform, which means it already coexists as part of your tools, is in there, it's integrated. It's the same tool set, the same environment. So you have all the email history that's also could come from this case that Jorge's created now, is automatically going to be saved from your Office 365 emails and interactions. If you write a letter in Word, all of that is being archived, filed in here. Even pictures, if you take, or any pictures or camera footage which you saved, and let's say, for evidence, what happened in that accident, you want to keep part of, just a piece of, or edit that piece of when that accident, you guys can always tag it into here. So my point to this is, as Jorge is creating this case, is managing this accident, everything's being updated underneath, right? And Microsoft Dynamics is calling all these tools and saving everything automatically for you. It's organizing all that information. So hint, if this same guest checks in 3 years from now, you can access all cases, emails, whatever that happened once, and you can say, this guest gave us issues or troubles last time they stayed in here, and you have all these cases. And by the way, I will clarify this. Cases can be created from a guest, like this pool issue, or cases can also be created by an employee within your organization, within your property, about a guest, right? So if we all get these type of guests that they're drunk 90% of the time, they're doing dramas and this all over the place, you may want to start keeping that history on the guest, right? So I call it, we can even have a review system that your employees can give a guest, the same way that in TripAdvisor, we are, as a property, reviewed, right? We can also internally review guests and have all this information in our fingertips that can be called on when a reservation is done. So we can have the system have the trigger, right? That if somebody, a guest, one time had 1 star or 2 stars, and and they got drunk, then excuse my French, they puked in the pool, and they got obnoxious in the lobby. They got on a table and they started twerking, right? All of that's happening now in South Florida, right, and in Puerto Rico. We can keep that, so when a guest is trying to do a reservation, we can actually have a trigger that every time that somebody tries to do a reservation in the property management side of the system, if a guest had 1 star or 2 star reviewed by you all, uh, it would bring up a message right before you confirm that reservation. So I'm just giving everybody pointers here of what we're capable of doing within the system as we're going through this. And I want everybody in attendance to understand that all of this is automatic, right? And it's all the same environment, the same system, right? It's Microsoft 365. Continue, Jorge.
Okay, thanks, Hector. So I'm going to convert the phone call to a case. The idea here is that, of course, as you can see, it's an emergency. So let's say that it's a category, for example, injury or illness. And in the subcategory, I am going to say that it's an accident in the pool. I configure here something that is a knowledge base that the CRM already include. So for example, I create an article just that describe the situation, how to handle that kind of situation, for example, drowning treadmill. So I could give to the user, to the CRM user, a lot of information that I already defined, so that I already include in the CRM to give them additional tools to manage these kind of situations. So he can start just indicating to the guest what's the procedure that he could guess that he could start doing. And when I create a case, immediately when I save the case, there's a couple of things that is going to happen. The first thing is that this case is going to be redirected immediately to the medical team because I configured like that. And additionally, it starts with an SLA that is kind of quick because it's something that we must attend immediately. After that, I could start doing some tasks. Like for example, if I want, I could create an additional task, like let's say that is an initial diagnostic, and I could indicate to someone go directly to that place and start doing like generation of medical diagnosis. So I could immediately create a specific task to someone in the hotel to indicate that they must start doing some specific activities. So as you can see, I could configure the CRM to do specific actions, to take specific actions like redirect cases. I could configure the knowledge base to allow me to see what's happening or what could be the procedure that the person could start doing. And after that, I could start relating some activities or some tasks to indicate to someone else to start managing the situation. Additionally, I could, let's say, for example, I could, probably after hang out with the person, I could send an email just to confirm that the situation was received. I could insert a template, let's say that, for example, put accident, and let's say that I'm going to include this one, for example. On this email, I'm informing to the guest that the case was created, the number of the case title, the category, the subcategory, and that description that I put there. And I'm going to say that if there is something that we could do for you to help you to solve the situation quicker, or if you have any concern or something that you want to ask you could contact us. So just for one call, I immediately create a case. I create a couple of activities or tasks to redirect the persons directly to the situation. I send an email confirming that I've received the case, and I'm going to be attending the situation just from my CRM, just doing some phone calls and just trying to solve the situation as soon as possible. So that's the second scenario that I wanted to
And
show
then,
you. As you can see
yeah,
here,
and
you could
and then
have the information.
another
Yeah.
and another seed I want to plant here is what I love about LS Property Management System, PMS, and the Microsoft 365 platform is that you as a property, you don't need to start with all of this at the same time, right? So if you need the accounting part of it or the property management to it, or right now you're using Room Master or Opera and you have an urgent need for the CRM component, remember, hint, hint, that promo, the 4x4 promo, hint, hint, you don't have to license the whole platform. You can start with a piece of it, get installed quickly for this new season. There's a lot of analysts out there saying that the season is starting now and it's not going to finish until the end of 2022. So it's going to be an 18-month season, except of having 3 months here, 4 months there, right? So if anybody needs any of these components, yeah, you can start. You don't need to bring the whole component. At the end of the day, and I don't want to talk negatively about anybody, but some people have in their PMS Opera and or Room Master something else, and then in their accounting they have QuickBooks or NetSuite or something like that, and then in their kitchen they have Symphony, and then in the point of sale they have Micros, and then the credit card over here. Think about this. You can have one system called LS PMS running on top of that Microsoft 365 platform, and it's one system. And you don't need to jump on the whole thing at the same time. You can come into this in increments, right? And get into best practices. So Jorge, back to you.
Okay, well, those were the two scenarios that I want to present you. Basically, the sales scenario and the customer services scenario. There are some other elements or components that you could include, like omni-channel, just to have contact with your customer directly using WhatsApp or using your portal. You could enable a portal to enable the users, the guests, go directly to a portal and just create cases and just get additional information. It's all included on the CRM environment. So, well, basically those are the two scenarios that I want to present you today.
The Blue Lagoon is one of Iceland's more popular attractions. Located in the Reykjanes Peninsula, this place has been listed as a must-visit destination by publications such as the New York Times, the National Geographic, and Time magazine. And why is that? Well, seeing is believing. The lagoon's milky blue geothermal water is unlike anything on this earth and makes a stark contrast to the surrounding black lava fields and creeping gray moss. The Blue Lagoon is also host to Iceland's first 5-star hotel and spa. The resort includes 2 hotels, a world-class spa, 4 restaurants, a poolside bar, and a skincare boutique. But why am I telling you all of this? The Blue Lagoon is the first resort to go live with the LS Central for Hotel solution and is a great example of our vision for unified experiences. The Blue Lagoon makes full use of LS Retail's product stack by linking together solutions for food and beverage, retail, activity, staff management, hotels, and insight to provide an experience that the guests will never forget. How is the personal service translated to the digital system? What does it take?
We often think that digital is a kind of technology that you can just buy or adapt. It's actually requires a mindset. And this is actually where I think most companies are struggling. going digital is actually changing the cultural mindset of a company, because you have to start thinking about the data in a completely different way. You have to start thinking about your interaction with your client in a completely different way. And you have multiple touch points that before you didn't have. I mean, you have the social media setups, you have the online setups, you have the retail being in physical, and this becomes so many different streams that have a huge potential if you understand them. And if you have the right systems to be able actually to deliver on it.